Welcome to part 8 of Decluttering Roulette. Now, I was determined to get this declutter started even though I had very limited time. So I'm actually all dressed up, ready for my running club with my big hoodie over the top. I thought, you know what, I've got some time before I leave. Let me pull out what we're going to declutter today. And it was decluttered items. Now, I know that might sound a bit weird, like how can you declutter decluttered items? But let me explain to you what has been happening in my house. You may be in a similar position if you start decluttering. So I go through an area, I make a decision about what to declutter, and then I set things to one side, usually to make decisions about what goes to charity shop, what's gifted locally, what goes to friends, what is actually going to be trashed, am I going to sell anything? And then those items hang about my house for a while. So, for example, that little yellow toy there is like a kind of toy eggs, and I decided to declutter them and then realized I was missing one part. It took me maybe like 4 weeks to come across this part. And then I had this bag of toys, and I knew that in amongst them was some Playmobil, and I was missing some bits again. Now, I don't want to ditch the toy entirely, bin it because I can't find all the parts. When it's a perfectly good toy, I just needed to locate all the parts, and then I could gift it on and send it off to the charity shop, and another child could play with it happily for many more years to come. So I do not like to bin things unless I absolutely have to, unless they are properly trashed and broken, or an item that goes with a matching toy is lost for good, cannot be replaced. I would rather spend money replacing parts of a toy to gift it on for free to somebody else and have it have a useful life than ditch stuff, especially plastic, because I'm so conscious of how many toys are plastic. So these little planes I put to one side, my sister got those for my boys and they really love them and they played with them so nicely. But just like with all toys, at some point their interest wanes. They haven't played with them for a long time. So firstly, I put these in quarantine. I've talked about this in my other videos. I struggle a lot to declutter the kids' toys. So one of the things that I found works really well for us is if I put toys in bags or boxes in my loft or attic for my American friends, and then if in 3 to 6 months the kids have not asked for it, I feel way more confident in gifting it on. But these had little bullets. I needed to fish those out. I had kind of put them to one side, so that was pretty easy done. Playmobil, on the other hand, that was not so easy. So we have this green tub, which is just all the Playmobil bits, all the little figures and the stuff that goes with the Playmobil sets. We have so many Playmobil sets, and the kids love them. They love playing with them. At the moment, we've got Pirate Island and Pirate Ship out, sitting on a unit under our telly, and all of our kids play with them. The 6-year-old, 4-year-old, and 2-year-old all love playing with Playmobil. So it's definitely stuff that we want to keep around, but there are some of items of Playmobil that our kids are not as into. So originally when they started getting into Playmobil, I wanted to, we had this fire engine and the boys would bicker over it all the time. I just wanted a second fire engine so that they could both play fire engines together. And I found someone locally who was selling Playmobil, a big black sack of Playmobil for 30 quid, and went to collect the items and found out it was actually 2 massive black sacks full of Playmobil, and there were so many sets, so many vehicles, and it was a absolute great purchase. We immediately gifted on some of the vehicles to one of my nephews, and then this is kind of Jurassic boat with dinosaurs, and they were just never into it. I remember originally putting it together, and they were never into it. So now I'm just going through trying to find all the parts for the Jurassic boat so that I can gift it on to the local charity shop. This took me so long. You'll be glad to know that I've sped it up for you. But because I was recording it, I could see the time when I'd finished, how long it took me to sort out these one bag of toys. It was 35 minutes. Oh my goodness me. So we have the telly on. We have started watching, it's on Disney. I think it's called The Stolen Girl. Really interesting. It's very rare for me to find something which my husband and I both enjoy watching at the same time. He likes the crime dramas very much. Very into the crime dramas. I watch, I don't know, a variety of random stuff, decluttering stuff. Yeah, I'm also a big fan of. So I've just finished watching the latest series of Sort Your Life Out on the BBC. And then I don't know, just like anything lighthearted, really. I generally watch stuff that I don't have to think too hard about. It doesn't linger in my head. I'm a big overthinker and I suffer with nightmares. So anything that gets my brain like swirling is a no-no. At the moment, I am watching, I've just started this brand new series of Race Across the World. Love that one. But I also just don't watch a lot of television. I do really like YouTube, and I don't watch a lot of television. So I would rather spend my time making YouTube videos. But that is something that I have really struggled also to do lately. So when I first started decluttering the house this time around, I started in December, which is like a crazy time of year to start because it's so busy in December, right? But I managed to put out, I want to say it was like 20 videos, or it may have been just a bit over 20 videos in the month of December. Like I was really consistent in getting videos out, did really well keeping up with it with everything Christmas going on. And I think that partly because I just had that real like fire to get going and find my beautiful watch, which started this whole thing as I'd lost the watch. And that was found on like day 10. So I had that real fire in my belly to get it done. I was seeing that progress. And also, it was quieter at work for me at that time. It was quieter in December. It was also quiet in January. It has really picked up since then. I feel like every month or every week that goes by is just getting busier and busier. So I am a lawyer. I'm quite a senior lawyer in my firm. And my role, I don't handle cases anymore. My role is more of an advisory role. I work in like policy and reform. And basically, as our new government finally, got their kind of feet under the table properly, started to make decisions about what policy they would put in place, started to get some legislation going in Parliament, then my job started to get very busy again. And we are working on so many different projects at the moment and monitoring so much legislation and meeting with MPs and peers in Parliament, which is all like the best bit of my job, super exciting, and it's all going really well. It's all really positive, but just the juggle. I work 4 long days a week, so I work basically almost full-time hours within 4 days. And then on a Thursday, which is the day that I am recording this voiceover, is my day off with my kiddos. And, then I'm just, running around like a headless chicken with the kids, right? So it just does not leave like a great deal of time for anything else, especially as I also have been running. I mean, I've been running, run walking, but still, you'll call it running, for the past like 18 months. And I decided to embark upon a marathon this year. So did the marathon at the beginning of this month. And it didn't go great, but I did complete it. But the training for that has also been very intense, especially like the couple of months just beforehand. So basically we ended up with this, boiling pot where I had super busy time at work, and marathon training was at its most intense. And yeah, everything just culminating in me having 0 time. So I have not been able to declutter as much as I'd like, but I have been putting out, I think around 3 videos a week. So I've been doing a good 3 decluttering sessions a week, keeping things, I would say, ish ticking over, but I can definitely feel, like particularly my kitchen right now. Oh my goodness, like with the Easter stuff that's out that I desperately want to put away. I think that's going to be a job for tomorrow. And yeah, it's so much. When I look around, I don't feel calm. I feel the chaos, I guess. There's definitely more of the chaos creeping in. And I know for me personally, when I start to feel like that, like I have to get on top of the house to, make sure that I maintain some sanity. But also, obviously the priority for me is always going to be my kids and spending time with them. We had a fantastic Easter. Kids were off school for just a smidge over 2 weeks, and we were working. I was working 3 days a week, both weeks. They went to a tree school and absolutely loved that. And then we had some awesome days out as a family. We had a lovely couple of days at my mum and dad's, and it was a really lovely Easter break. But now I just want to start getting back into a rhythm of decluttering a bit every day. I always said I just set myself like 15 minutes a day to declutter, and I need to get back into that kind of mentality of, I just need to get a bit done every day, because I know how much that compounds and the difference it can make. That is what I did throughout December and January, and after that couple of months I could start to feel that the burden of the house lifting a bit. Things were getting easier. It was taking a lot less time to get tidied and picked up around the house. And, we've not gone back to where we were before December, but equally, I'm not where I wanted to be. And what I wanted was to continue to see progress. There's also quite a few like DIY jobs around the house that have built up. We've got some mold on the ceiling in our ensuite. It's an issue that we do suffer with in the house, that we're with having a lot of condensation. But we need to get on top of that. I need to kill the mold. I need to paint the ceiling with a special mold paint, which I have. So that's a job I need to do. We've got a drippy tap in our main bathroom. We've got a broken tap in the kitchen. Just things sort of are beginning to mount up a little bit. And I need a list. I feel like I need a list. I love a list. Just things written down makes me feel like I've achieved something. And I think you do, in a way, just like making sense of things in your own head, which is something that I personally really need to do. So I need a list, and then I need to start getting my decluttering muscles exercised again. So having spent absolutely blooming ages sorting out the toys into this bag, I added in the blasted eggs, and what I'm going to do is basically separate out in piles the stuff I'm going to take to the charity shop the following day, because very nicely I had sorted this stuff out on the Wednesday to have the Thursday off. My plans for that day had fallen through, so I was like, I'm going to do a bunch of chores, we're going to go to the charity shop, and then I have some stuff. Basically this cube, which is way like overstuffed, is everything that needs to go somewhere else, or like have something done with, whether that's stuff to sell on Vinted or stuff to go to my friend. So I wanted to go through that. This bag is all like my daughter's clothes she's grown out of, shoes she's grown out of, to go to my friend's little girl. So adding some bits in there, and then after I'd filmed this, I immediately sent her a message suggesting that I pop in on Sunday and deliver her the clothes and toys I've set aside for her. So we also have various other things to action. One thing I'd have loved to have got to the point where I listed everything that I wanted to sell on Vinted this night. But as I'm wrapping this up, it is already about 11 p.m. at night. And with a general faffing that took place after I finished filming this and sorting out the rest of the stuff, I basically didn't go to bed till nearly midnight. So I knew I wouldn't have time to actually list stuff. So that will have to wait for another day. But getting the bulk of this out of the house is the most important thing. I had a moment where I pulled out this scarf and I was like, oh, but I really love this scarf. Why did I decide to get rid of this scarf? And then I had to remind myself that I already have a lot of thick scarves that I love. But we'll think about that at a later date. I also have a parcel that I took from my mum's house to send back. I didn't actually manage to action that today, but I will do tomorrow. It is in the car. So unfortunately, when I took stuff to the charity shop, they would take the toys, no problem. They took all the rest, but they would not take the curtains. So I'm going to have to try to give those away locally. So it's always a struggle. Like when you make a decision to get rid of really good things, sometimes it's not actually that easy to get rid of them. So the bulk of this stuff is going. The tote box goes back, and I'll need to action that another day. But that is a big win. There is lots more space. This stuff was taking up space in our tiny utility and under the stairs. I will see you in the next one. Bye.